Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So very exciting day. This has been something I've been wanting for a long time, and to be honest, I was not in the market for new wheels. I've always wanted a set of these, and I told myself if I ever came across a set that was in the spec, condition, and color that I wanted, I would entertain the idea. Sure enough, it popped up and we're going to get them. So pretty funny story with this specific set of wheels and the seller. We'll get into that in a little bit. Cool story. But let's head up. We're going to meet him right now and get the wheels. So I'll catch back up with you guys very shortly, but I'm super excited. All right, guys, here are the wheels. They are BBS E88's in Motorsport Silver. Absolutely beautiful, in perfect shape. I'll go into a little bit of detail, obviously the specs and everything like that, but I want to tell a quick story about their previous owner. Now, funny enough, the seller of these wheels is actually somebody I have a little bit of history with. And by a little bit, I mean I actually almost purchased his F80 M3. I'm not going to get into all the details and everything, but it was just a series of unfortunate events. Before I purchased my F80, I actually put a deposit on his car. And it was about a month and a half of kind of going back and forth, a bunch of stuff that was going on. And obviously I did not end up picking up his car. It was neither his fault or my fault. It was kind of a third party's fault. But either way, what I'm trying to get at is never burn bridges, because I ended up purchasing these wheels off of him, which was really cool. I'm glad we were able to finally work something out after all this time and kind of the unfortunate circumstance that happened with the car, but it all ended up working out. He ended up keeping his F80 for a little bit longer. I obviously ended up getting mine, which was much lower miles. It was completely stock, and it just ended up working out better for the both of us. So the seller actually purchased these last January from Supreme Power, brand new BBS, straight from Germany. He bought them through Supreme. He rode on them for a couple hundred miles, took them off, and then he ended up getting rid of the car. So these things are, I don't even want to say used, because they are most certainly not. They are new used, I guess, but a couple hundred miles, brand new Michelin PS4S's on here. I couldn't be happier. It's the exact spec, exact color, everything that I wanted to do. It's even got the Huff TPMS in here, which is the exact same ones I have in the TEs. So very cool. It all ended up working out. So all I got to say is never burn any bridges. I don't care what happened. You never know what can happen in the future. So BBS E88's, it's a 50-50 love-hate relationship. Not everybody loves these wheels, but if you understand motorsports and you're really into them, the E88's are kind of the king wheel. It's the top of the line. One of the best looking wheels, best wheels you can put on a car, in my opinion. So I get it, not everybody likes these, but this is definitely the top tier for me. My favorite wheel, literally a dream wheel, and by far the most expensive wheel I have ever purchased in my entire life. I never thought in a million years I'd be spending this kind of money on wheels, but here we are. So let's go over the wheels a little bit, talk about the specs and everything so you guys get an idea. So on the invoice originally from Supreme, the fronts are 18 by 10 plus 21. I'm not sure if they're plus 21 or 22. Either way, it's negligible with that 1 millimeter difference. The rears are 18 by 11 plus 34. So if you guys are familiar with my TEs, the fronts are 18 by 9.5 plus 22, and the rears are 18 by 11 plus 34. So the rears are the exact same spec. We'll go over the tires in a second, but it's the exact same tire size, obviously a different brand. But the fronts are actually a ½ inch wider. These are 9.5s, these are 10s. And it's basically the same exact offset. We'll see how it fits. Obviously, it's a ½ inch wider, so it may obviously look a little bit more aggressive, which obviously I'm all for. As for tires, these are Michelin PS4S's, which is one of my favorite tires. Super quiet, lots of grip, and they look really good. The rears are 295/35 18s, as you can see right there. Exact same size that I have in the back of the Volks. The fronts, I may change up, but they are currently 255/35 18. So a 255 has a little bit of stretch on a 10-inch wheel, which honestly may work in my favor given how low I am and also the spec of these wheels. So it may end up looking okay, but ideally I would like a 265 on the front. So I may just get some new 265 Michelin PS4S's and throw them on, or we'll see how like the PS4S's now that I've been riding on the Falcons, the RT660s. I may end up swapping these tires over onto the E88's. Not sure if I'm going to end up doing that because I love how the TEs look on those tires, but it's an option if I A, don't want to spend any more money, and B, I don't like the ride. I much prefer the RT660s. We'll see how that goes, obviously, but for now, I'm just going to rock the PS4Ss that are on here, see how they fit, and just kind of enjoy them for now because, like I said, most expensive wheels I've ever purchased in my life, and I don't feel like spending any more money on wheels at the moment or the car at this current moment, so we're just going to enjoy them as is. But how beautiful are these wheels? They are absolutely insane. As I mentioned, the finish is Motorsport Silver, my favorite color. Yes, gold would have been cool, but I will admit I would have gotten over it very, very quickly. And I think going with the Motorsport Silver is a little bit more of a classy move, at least for me. And it's something that's going to stand the test of time and not get old to me. And plus, having black TEs, silver E88s, it's kind of the best of both worlds here. So here is the big boy out back, the 295 on the 11. And then the finish in here is so cool. It's a raw finish. And then you can look on the inside there for the weight savings, which is really cool. They drilled out all the little holes there to help on weight. And not to mention, this is my first set of 3-piece wheels ever. So pretty exciting that my first set of 3-piece are E88s. Pretty amazing, not gonna lie. But super, super cool. I mean, the wheels, it's crazy how light they are. I'm very curious the weight between the TEs and the E88s, you know, the difference. My guess is that the E88s are going to be a little bit heavier, but I don't know. These are like 18 pounds. They're super duper light. I'm not sure what these are, but we can do a little non-scientific weight session once I get the TEs off. Obviously, enough talk. I know you guys just want to see them on the car, and trust me, so do I. So I'm going to do them real quick, at least on this side. Throw them on, see how they look, and go from there. All right, guys, we got them on the car. The rear fits so awesome. Pretty much exactly like my TEs. Very, very flush. Love that. But the fronts, we got some work to do. And I think it's because of the tire size. Now, it even looks like, obviously the car has to settle a little bit, but the car looks higher just because of a tire size. Now, it's the same series tire. It's a 35, and the TEs are 35. But if you look side by side, the sidewall is definitely stretched, and on the fronts of the TEs, the RT660s, it's a very square fitment, which I prefer. Now, I did have to remove the Future Classic spacer because of these. These are the bolts that hold the spacer onto the hub of the rotor, and these were too thick and too big, and the wheel wasn't sitting on the hub properly, so I had to remove the spacers. So I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I don't know if I'm gonna change the tire size. I don't know if I should get spacers or what. Obviously it looks like I need to adjust some height and everything, but we will see. I don't know. But overall the look is very, very different. I'm so used to seeing dark wheels. So overall it's a very, very different look for me. But I'm curious how much more it's gonna settle once I move the car, just because I had it jacked up and everything. So it's gonna change a little bit. But I don't know. I definitely have some work to do. I'm not 100% sold on it. At least the front. The rears I really do like. I think it looks great, nice and chunky and beefy, but I don't know. The fronts, we got some work to do. All right, guys, so I got all the wheels on. I did the driver's side. Obviously I didn't film that because there's not much room back here, but fitment in the back is superb. The front, as I mentioned, needs some work. So I have been staring at the car for the last, I don't know, hour. Just kind of getting used to this look because it's very, very different. For me, so used to the black TEs. It does look pretty darn awesome, but I don't want to drive the car until, well, I'll drive it, but I really don't want to drive around too much without getting that front sorted out. So I was talking to a few people with E88s and just kind of going over some options. And I think the best route to go is to go up in tire size. I knew that was kind of where I should be going, but I didn't want to believe it because I don't feel like spending more money on these, but I think that is the right thing to do to get them to where I want it. Now, 255 on a 10-inch wheel is pretty skinny, not my preferred overall tire size. The rear, as I mentioned, is perfect. I'm not touching that. But the fronts, 255 on a 10, it does offer, or does show, quite a bit of stretch. Too much stretch for my taste. Plus, I like the really chunky, meaty look. So I was debating between 265 or 275. And given the fact that this is a 10-inch wheel, I think I'm going to go up to a 275 just because of how much wider the wheel is. Now, this is a 9.5 with a 265, which is perfect. But then again, it's a different tire, a much squarer sidewall, much more flat, whereas the Michelins are more bubbly, which both look good. I mean, I do prefer the look of the Falcons, I'm not going to lie. But I don't want to get all new tires right now. Plus, these Michelins are literally have a couple hundred miles on them, so I don't want to get a whole new set right at this point. But I think what I'm going to do is get a set of 275 or a pair of 275 35s and then throw them on the front and see how much better it looks. Because to be completely honest, the actual wheel, the lip of the wheel is perfectly flush with the fender, so it fits really, really well. It's just the tire sizing that's playing such a big role in the poor fitment. So once we get that sorted, it is going to fill out so much better. The tire is going to be nice and flush with the fender, and it's going to look just as low as it did with the TEs. Because right now, which is crazy, I can fit my hand in here, which on the TEs, I couldn't even get my finger in there. So that just goes to show how much tire sizing plays a part in fitment. Obviously wheel specs and everything is a huge role in it, but tire size is very, very big and often overlooked. So I can't believe I'm gonna do this. I am gonna be ordering up a set of 275 35s, same tire, Michelin PS4Ss, and we're gonna get them on. Hopefully I can get them soon. I don't know if I'm gonna get them by the time the video comes out, because obviously they gotta come in, I gotta schedule and everything with the tire shop. Maybe they'll have something in the next few days that I can get that knocked out. But overall, the look, again, very different, but looks very, very cool, and I'm really happy with it. Again, it's going to take some getting used to just because of the black and everything. Very, very different style wheel, very different than what I'm used to, but they do look awesome. And I love the race pockets, which is a nice deep socket center, whereas the other ones have the center cap and they're a little bit more pushed out. And I'm not actually a big fan of the non-race pocket E88s. Not sure why, but I much prefer this style. So, all right, so I am probably going to walk around the car another dozen times and kind of just get a grasp of what's going on here. And I really, really want to get that front figured out. So I really would like to take the car out, see the car out in person, out in daylight and everything, get a better idea of how the car is sitting and everything. Obviously, it's going to drop a little bit once the car moves because it hasn't settled totally. But I really want to get the car out so you guys can see it in the daylight. We are getting a lot of rain right now, so I don't plan on taking it out tomorrow, but hopefully in the next few days I can get some clips for you guys and then we can wrap it up. But yeah, we got to get that front sorted. Oh, and also real quick, I did a quick weight of both. I didn't catch it on film, I was just kind of doing it quickly, but to my surprise, the E88s are actually lighter. The rear E88s are 47 pounds and the rear TEs, same size, different tire obviously, are 50. The fronts on the TEs were about 47, 48, and the fronts on the E88s, as of now with the 255, is 45. So obviously it's going to bump up a little bit once we change the tire size, but I'm very impressed. I thought the TEs were going to be lighter, much simpler wheel, less hardware and everything, but we saved some weight, which is going to obviously contribute to the overall feel of the car as well. Rotational mass is a very, very important thing, and I did feel the weight change when I put the TEs on after I took the 666M competition wheels off, because those things are super heavy. And then going to these, I definitely felt the difference. So I'm curious I'm going to feel a difference from the TEs to the E88s. That's interesting. All right, guys, so it's actually the following day. And what I decided to do, as I mentioned in the last clip, is that I'm going to get larger diameter tires on the fronts. Currently, they're 255/35, and it's just not fitting right. As you can see, it's very sunken in, and there's too much stretch in my personal opinion. So I ended up reaching out to my tire shop that I always use. They ordered me some 275/35s Michelin PS4Ss, so same exact tire, and we're going to get them swapped out tomorrow morning. So very, very thankful that they were able to get them so quickly and that they were able to get me in so I can not only get this fitment dialed in and looking proper, but also put it in this video for you guys. So what I actually need to do is remove these wheels to get ready for tomorrow so I can bring these in. They already have the new tires, so I just got to bring these in and they're going to swap them out real quick. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any clips for you guys, but I'll try to get something. But either way, I need to get these off. I'm going to throw the front TEs on for now, so it's not sitting on jack stands overnight. So very excited to get this dialed in and looking proper, because I want to make sure that I'm doing these E88s justice. They're beautiful wheels, and having fitment like this is just no bueno. So I want to make sure that I'm showing you guys just how amazing these wheels can fit and look on this car. So also, I mentioned that I wasn't able to use the spacers because of the bolt that holds the spacer onto the hub, but in fact I actually can use them. I just don't have to use the bolt. Just like a normal spacer, it just goes on the hub. The reason why they bolt them down is to eliminate any chance of vibration, but I've used spacers, tons of spacers over the years on different cars, and I've never had any issues with vibration issues. So I'll still be able to use them to dial in the fitment once I get the new tires on, so that it's good reassurance if I need to use them for clearance or just kind of bump out the fitment a little bit. We will see, but I'm not going to put them on yet until I get the new tires on. So let me pop these off. I want to show you what the stretch looks like currently, so we can do a back-to-back comparison between these and the new tires. All right guys, I got the front TEs put on. Crazy how much better these fit just because of the tires. Also got this side done obviously as well. I got that over there, but I just wanted to show you the stretch on these tires before we swap over. So look how much stretch there is on a 10-inch wheel with a 255 Michelin PS4S. So definitely a lot of stretch. Now obviously my philosophy is having a wider tire with the same profile. It's going to come out more, and this is going to be more flat, just like the rears, which you can't see right now. But it's going to be much more square, much more flat, and it's just going to fit this wheel so much better. And then as you can see on the TEs, I don't have the spacers on right now, which I normally do, but they're going to be so much more flush. I'll probably throw the 5mm spacer on with these. We'll see how everything goes with the wider tire, because I've never driven with a 275 up front. The widest tire I've ever had up front on any car is 265. So it should be interesting to see what a 275 looks like on this. Now my philosophy with this whole thing is, and something that I always preach with my cars and my journey and everything that I share with you guys, is to buy once, cry once. You know, do it once, do it right. And I wouldn't be able to be 100% satisfied with these wheels if I don't do the tires correctly. Yeah, sure, I could space it out and it could lower it a little bit and kind of play with the fitment, but when it comes down to it, doing the proper size tire on these wheels is going to make these wheels fit better, look better, perform better, and that's just the way to do it. Unfortunately, it's costing me about $700 for 2 new front tires and to get them mounted and balanced, so it's definitely money I didn't want to spend. But at the end of the day, if you want to do it right, got to pay to play kind of thing. So if anybody is interested in these tires, these are 255 35/18 Michelin PS4Ss. They have less than 500 miles on them. Pretty much brand new, very popular size. They already been denibbed around the fronts of them. So if anybody's interested and is local, I'll sell them to you for a really good price. These tires each are a little over $300. I'll sell both the fronts, the 2 fronts, for $400 picked up. If you guys are interested in them, let me know. Crazy good deal. You're saving about $200 on pretty much brand new tires, and one of the best tires at that. So if anybody is interested, send me a DM on Instagram and we can get these sold. All right guys, so we got the 275s on the E88s, and look how much better these things fit. So a 10-inch wide wheel, no stretch at all, nice and flat, just like the rears. So it's gonna be absolutely perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for, that nice square sidewall, no stretch or anything, and it's gonna fit so much better. So the one thing that I always do with new tires is denib them, so you can see the little nibs on the tires. I go around with a razor blade, cut them off, and then I put some tire dressing on just to kind of condition the tires a little bit. But otherwise, these things are ready to go. So I got to go ahead and get the TEs off and throw these back on and see how these things fit. Again, as I mentioned, we still have the 5mm spacer to play with. So after I put these on and everything, I'll see how it fits, and we may throw a 5mm on to kind of bump it out. But we'll see with the extra size how that looks and fits and everything. But so thrilled that I was able to do this so quickly. No joke, got them on Thursday. Friday, ordered the tires. Saturday, these were on. So pretty cool. But all right, let's get these on the car. All right, guys, so as you can see, we are getting there. So going up a size was definitely the right move, but what I'm gonna do to push it out a little bit more is throw those 5mm spacers on, because I want these pushed out just a little bit. We got some room to spare with these, and I think the 5mm is gonna be just that extra little touch. Did the same thing with the TEs, put that 5mm on, and it made such a big difference. It made them fit so much better. So let me take them off, throw the spacers back on, and we'll see how they look. All right, guys, spacers are on, and how perfect is that? So with the 5mm 275/35 on the 10-inch E88, absolute perfection. And it's gonna drop a little bit as well because the car hasn't completely settled after jacking it up. But my goodness, that is pretty darn good if you ask me. I will say without the 5mm spacer, I was running into a little bit of a rubbing issue on the coil on the back of the KW. It was still spinning, but it was a little too close for comfort. With the 5mm, it clears. Honestly, probably like 3 to 4mm it clears by, but it clears. And the way that the spring is positioned in the tire, it's gonna clear. I may even think about doing like an 8mm spacer if I can find one, just to kind of bump it out a little bit more. But God, I mean, I am so much happier with how that fits in comparison to the previous one. It just looks, so good. I'm really happy with that. But I got to throw the driver's side on, get that situated, throw the spacer on. I threw some tire shine on there and de-nibbed them. As you can tell, no more nibs on there. Usually with newer tires, I dress them kind of heavily because it kind of absorbs in. It actually absorbed a lot since I put it on, so it's given that nice matte finish. I don't like glossy wheels or glossy tires, so it's looking very, very good. I use the Obsessed Garage tire dressing. I love that stuff. It's perfect and looks really, really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the driver's side. Obviously, there's not much room to work over there, but let me kind of get things situated over there. All right, guys, I got the driver front on. Looks absolutely insane. So again, so happy I decided to change up the tires. Obviously, it did cost quite a bit more to get this done, but I mean, look at that. It's so much better. I was doing some clearance testing, spinning the wheel in different circumstances when it was up in the air, also on the ground, and kind of rolling it back and forth and everything. And everything clears just fine. The little perch on the KWs on the bottom, that is actually tucked into the barrel. So it's past the tire at that point. And then the spring kind of angles up. So we got actually more clearance than I thought when it was fully drooped. E88s are one of those wheels that's just impossible to show how good it looks in person. On video and on camera and stuff, I admit it's very, very hard to kind of show the details of it and everything, but in person, these things look absolutely mental. Also, a very, very quick mention. You guys probably saw me using this in the video. I've been wanting an Impact for a long time. I'm a huge Milwaukee fan in general. I have a lot of Milwaukee stuff, but I saw this. I was like, you know what? It's a good price. Let me try this thing out. And I'm very, very impressed with it. It is a 1/2-inch impact driver. You get a lot of nice stuff with it in the kit. You get a nice little box for it, but you also get some impact sockets. You also get an extension as well. You get 2 batteries. One of them's on there, a charger. I think if I remember correctly, it has around 800 foot-pounds of nut braking force, something like that. Pretty insane for the price. I'm really, really happy with it. So if you're looking for a very affordable impact, I'll leave a link below for this. Very pleased with it. So here we are outside showing off the new Fitment new wheels, and I am in absolute love of how these things fit. As you guys can see, I put in the time, the effort, obviously the money to get these things to fit properly, and I am so thrilled. I decided to put the 275s on the front, spend the money, and get it sitting proper. Now, in terms of rubbing, no rubbing on the springs whatsoever because of the 5mm spacers. If I didn't have the 5mm spacers on, they actually were touching the springs a little bit, so needed that little bit of extra clearance with such a wide tire up front. I am having a little bit of a scrubbing issue on the bumper tab right here, which was pretty normal. I actually had a little bit of scrub with the TEs on this side as well, so that's to be expected. Nothing a little self-clearance can't handle. That's usually what happens, and it goes away, so we should be pretty good. The car just looks absolutely insane. You know, having contrast on this car after having black wheels for so long, it is really, really nice. A nice change of pace. I love the black TEs. I think it's a really good look, but obviously over time, you know, you kind of get tired of it and everything, and it's nice to change it up. And as I mentioned, I'm keeping the TEs at least for now. And then if I want to change up in the future, I most certainly can. This is probably one of my favorite angles. You can see the fitment, you can see the details of the wheels and everything. It looks super wide and aggressive. Love it. Side profile shot looks insane. How cool this car. Oh my God, look at this. Looks so freaking awesome. I love it. Again, as I mentioned, very different look for me. I'm so used to the black TEs, and all my other cars I always kind of ran dark, you know, gunmetal or black wheels. This is my first set of silver wheels in a long time. In fact, the last set of silver wheels I've ever had on any car was on my E46 M3. They were Apex ARC8s. I had the black set, and then I sold them for a silver set, and I loved it. So it's been 12, 13 years since I've ran a silver set of wheels. So no question, very, very different for me, not just because of this car, but for the last, you know, over a decade I've been running darker colored wheels. I think it looks awesome paired with the Pepita seats, the Recaros. Just looks so motorsport with the floor mats and everything. Such a good look. This is actually my first drive with the new BAB sound setup too, and it sounds so good. So a lot of things going on here. So the only other thing that I would like to do for the wheels is do a stud conversion kit. I do not want to do titanium. I think it looks nice, but me going back and forth between the E88s and the TE37s, I don't want, you know, titanium silver studs and bolts and everything on those wheels. It would just look really, really off. So I'll probably just do the black steel ones, but lugs, I'm probably gonna go with some Project Kicks ones, kind of the JDM in me, kind of mixing both worlds here. So we'll probably do that in the future, but for now, the lug bolts are just fine. But yeah, guys, we are going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's one of my favorite videos I've made in a while, because not only are they my dream wheels, but you guys can see how my mind thinks and what it takes to kind of go that extra step to get things to fit and look proper. It's something that I always preach and praise on the channel and my cars and everything, so that is a perfect example of me kind of going above and beyond to make sure that I'm doing whatever that I'm doing it justice and doing it right. The 255s, sure, I could have ran those, spaced them out really, really far, dropped it lower and everything, but it just wouldn't have been practical. It wouldn't have looked right, especially with such a meaty tire out back. So going up to the 275s was definitely the right choice. Yes, it cost money. Yes, it was a pain in the butt, but at the end of the day, it looks so much better. I am so much happier, and I never have to think about it again. I don't have to look at the skinny tires anymore. And it just, I mean, look at this thing. It looks absolutely nuts. So yeah, guys, I am going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed that. So much fun doing this video. If you guys have any questions at all about the wheels, the car, anything else, please leave them in the comments below. In the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple. I'll catch you guys in the next one.